Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
What is up, everybody? It is Skaggs here, and you are listening to the Two Doomed Men podcast. No captain tonight. Instead, I am joined by Mr. G Money, Garrett Goldsberry, and Trillboy. I got my two New Jersey on the ground field reporters joining to talk tonight about the drone scenario going on over there. What's going on, boys?
What's up, Bubba? It's good to see you. Haven't been on in a while. It's nice to see everybody, and I'm pretty excited to dive into what we're going to dive in. Being myself and Trill are eyewitnesses to everything. So
yeah, without a doubt, man.
What's going on, gentlemen?
I'm excited to have you guys here back since last time the three of us at least were together on election night, and there's never a fucking dull moment, it seems, right? I mean, I've been thinking back to the past, just I guess Biden's presidency overall, I was thinking before of comparing it to Trump's presidency. I felt like through most of Trump's presidency, the dominant thing that was happening in the news was Russiagate, and that was kind of like, I'm not saying other shit didn't happen, but Russiagate was like the main story of those 4 years. And now with Biden becoming president, I feel like every week there was some crazy lunatic outside the box fucking scenario always happening. And now culminating with the drone scenario in New Jersey, which I wanted to have you guys on to talk about. And I started off this whole thing being super skeptical, as I always am, of everything, including shit that is posted on the internet. Garrett, as me and you are always going back and forth about. But
100%.
And I was super skeptical at the beginning, but now I think the evidence is fucking completely overwhelming that there are drones flying over New Jersey and other areas in general. People have been posting. I got some of your guys' videos, got a whole bunch of comments from the government that are super contradictory. I want to get to all of them at some point or another, and there's the three of us kind of hash out what we think the fuck is going on here. So let's start here, though. You guys have both seen these things, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very much so. I mean, we see them. I don't know about you because I don't know how far you are from me, Trail, but I'm in like Northwest Jersey, right? So I live like right next to a military base. And I mean, we've been seeing these things as soon as it gets dark, pretty much until like 10, 11 o'clock at night, like constantly. And multiple, and the size of fucking SUVs in the air to little ones, like you're seeing them go all over. And at first, like I didn't even, for like the first week or two, I'm like, nah, whatever, man. Like same kind of outlook that Skaggs had on it. I was like,
was this before it became news? You were noticing them?
Yes. So I mean, how long do you guys think it's been news for? 2 weeks?
Yeah, like since the end of the first week of December, I think.
All right, so a little under 2 weeks. I mean, this has been going on since like before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I heard.
I mean, I've noticed them. I don't know about you, Joe.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Like, just browsing on Twitter and stuff like that, people were talking about that these drones have been in the air for some time, like maybe around since like October or like mid-November or something like that, and it's just like getting everyone's attention the past 2 weeks. So it's like kind of crazy.
See, I also become super skeptical, or at least just like I take things with a grain of salt, especially when there becomes like a hysteria online about something. COVID has really taught me a lesson about that in general, right? That doesn't mean that things don't happen, right? Like this is obviously now happening. But I look at shit like this always with the grain of salt. Like I saw people in my town's group Facebook page, which I'm a member of, saying that drones are now flying over my town in remote northern Connecticut. There's no drones. People are literally posting videos of just planes, and it becomes this kind of mass online hysteria, right? Where people are posting every single fucking thing they see in the sky as a video and are claiming it's a drone. So I'm wondering how much of this whole thing is that, and how much of it are actual drones. Because Garrett, I'll be honest with you, I believe you, right? You're there, you're nearby, kind of the epicenter of this thing. You're saying you're seeing the drones, right? But I'm seeing so many videos. You know, even some of the videos you did send me, you sent me a video, and it was just planes landing at the airport, right? But
So,
people were like,
yeah.
it's drones.
No,
It's
no, no.
drones.
Just for what's it called? Just for argument's sake and perspective, like me and Skags go back and forth all day, and he'll poo-poo my shit, I'll poo-poo his shit, whatever. But like, I'm not always sending them, and Skag still forgets that like this is the word of God. A lot of times I use Skag as like my fact check bullshit.
Okay, fair enough.
Driving, and I'm like, let me just forward it to Skaggs. They'll tell me if it's bullshit, and I can going, fuck you, your shit's stupid, blah 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 blah. So then I'm like, all right, because I know Skaggs will like fact check me, and I can trust him, and I trust he's good. Like we always say, he's coming from a good place. I'm coming from a good place. That's why we trust each other when we call each other on our bullshit, which a good friendship should be, right?
Can I make one quick example of the videos that we're talking about?
Yeah.
In one of our, I have a million group chats with a million people, right? But in one of my Instagram group chats with my friends, somebody recently sent a video, and it's a video looking up at the sky, and there's like these kind of explosions going on, and it looks like like an orb or a light, like a plane or something going by, and then this like weird explosion that happens next to it. They sent that into the group chat. We've all been talking about the drones recently. So the idea was that this was another drone video. Like, wow, look at that thing, right? I clicked on the video and I looked at the first comment, and it's like, what do you think about, like, how do you think the kids in Gaza feel? And I'm like, the kids in Gaza. And then I go look through, this is a video of the Iron Dome in Israel, right? But it's being sent in the group chat as if it's the drones in New Jersey. So like a lot of shit like that happens. It kind of feeds into the whole hysteria of the whole thing and whatnot, etc. So I think a lot of people, just a lesson to be learned from this entire thing, just be like, it's crazy years later, we gotta keep saying this, right? Just be careful what you actually do look at on the internet, because there's a lot of people posting shit that is out of context, and they're kind of like trying to grift off of this is like the topic of the day right now. I remember even when that crazy Hurricane Helene happened, there was a ton of fucking videos of flooding going on everywhere. Someone posted a video of a guy in his kayak in his living room, and that wasn't actually even from Hurricane Helene. It was from like a video of a hurricane in Florida years before. But the guy like got all the engagement off of the fact that Hurricane Helene just happened, and it was like going viral on social media. So I just feel like base level, you always got to kind of be skeptical of shit like that.
Oh yeah, I mean 100%. The weird thing about this is like, yeah, it looks like planes and stuff, but like I'm seeing it with my own eyes, and some of the big ones do look. That's why I was like, this is so weird, because you're seeing like scanning like lights back and forth, but you're seeing like FFA, like red and blue for the you know, the wings and everything. So you're like, is it a plane? Is it not a plane? But we had a couple nights where it's just crystal clear up by me, and I'm up more in the mountains, so like you get less light pollution, so you can actually physically see these things with your eyeballs, not with your iPhone tuning in. And I mean, like there's airports around me as well. I live like next to two or three little airports where like you can have your own Cessna there, and we can fucking go up for a ride. And so I do see low planes around my house, right? But the amount of traffic at night and the low plays and the hums that they're making are not plane hums. Like it sounds like, you know what I'm saying? It's a different.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, what are you have seen these, right? So like, what is it that you're seeing from this thing flying that is then making you think this is not a plane, this is a drone? Again, because I say one of the which I actually have the video here, or I don't know if this is the exact one, but one of the videos you did send me, Garrett, I'm gonna be honest, the shit just kind of looked like a plane. But then
Yeah,
again,
no, it looks exactly like a plane. But what I'm saying is it's not a plane because like there's drones that look like planes, right?
Yeah.
We
Sure.
can all agree on that, right? Like Predator drones,
could.
it's a different
It could.
type of drone. So, like, some people in their head, I think, are getting it misconstrued that, like, everybody's thinking, like, the little thing that you put down and you go, zzz, and it goes
Yeah.
up, or like a bigger 4-prop one, which we've seen too over here in some different styles. But these are like delivery system drones, scanning drones, like the ones that they were. I'm not saying they're the Predator drones, but just for people that are like
similar style to that.
understand what they are, how they have the wings and the tail and everything else, but nobody's flying it. It's an unmanned flying whatever.
Yeah.
These are the size of these things, if not bigger sometimes. You know, because my kids came to me a couple weeks ago and they're like, Dad, we saw this drone. It's the size of an SUV. I'm like, bullshit, right? So then I go outside and I'm like, oh shit, it's this. Yeah. So it's more of like, let's say that one to the, top left or the big one, highlighted on the right. I'm not saying because I'm looking at it from a bottom view. You know what I'm saying? I'm not seeing it like side head on, but it has the wings. It has this. It's more of that type of shape.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it is hard to judge from the underneath. One of the things that frustrates me about this whole thing,
but the height,
or just
the height,
me.
The sound,
right,
and like how, like, okay, if it's a plane, it's usually going to its destination, right?
Yeah.
These things are fucking banging you. He's coming back, stopping, moving, banging you. He's coming back. Like I could, like we did a time lapse. My one buddy sent me. I couldn't get it for you in time, but it was like it just watched it. They're doing like it's like gridding, like LiDAR. Like they're just
scan. I like the way you put it before, scanning.
Yeah.
So Trill, what about hang on, Trill,
what
about you? What have you seen yourself so far?
So like I also too like live by like a small like airport and stuff, and normally like all the time I look up in like the sky and stuff and I see like regular planes here and there, but like recently the past 2 weeks it's been a lot more air traffic like in the sky if you look at it, and you're just not even thinking about drones and whatnot. So you're seeing a lot more lights, a lot more like things moving around in the sky. And the way I see it, because I saw like maybe 3 or 4 of them kind of like up close, and the way it like just moves, it's very, very weird and strange. And it's not like an airplane. Airplane has like that smooth, like, where it's going and stuff like that.
Constant direction it's traveling in.
These things, like I saw one like doing like a circle in the sky and whatnot. Like if it was like looking for something on the ground, and other ones I saw them like going straight and then beeline to like the left or some shit. I'm like, it was insane, dude. Like, I don't know.
I'm just thinking back to my initial skepticism on this whole thing, and talking to you really does change my mind has changed on it in general, but really does change my mind in general, because I know what you guys are saying, how we're like, since we're kids, right? You always are seeing planes flying around in the sky.
Especially for the most where we live.
They all behave the same. They travel in constant directions. Like if you guys ever seen like a fighter jet or some shit, travel over, and you're wow, you could pick it out right away because the sound, it looks different.
Yeah,
the speed it's moving at, right? Like you could tell because it's
like
not
really,
normal.
really loud.
So I know what you guys are saying, that this just doesn't look like normal air traffic behavior going on. Because again, another thing I was trying to grapple with is like the punch buggy thing, where it's like, or like when someone tells you like, hey, look, there's a yellow bug, right? And then
and you just start seeing them, and
now you start seeing them all the time, right? Because somebody pointed it out to you. So I'm trying to wonder like how much of this whole thing is like a psychological aspect, where now because people have shared it online and now the news is talking about it, everyone's looking up at the sky in New Jersey specifically and elsewhere in the area, and now every single light that they see, they're like, it's a drone. Or right, and there could be but I'm saying what you guys are telling me is pretty common sense. Like you know how planes move in the sky, and this just doesn't look normal compared to that.
No, so there's a couple other things that like really like caught my attention as well. So like last Friday, I'm driving home from wrestling practice, and we're in the high school parking lot where it's wide open, but like our high school is like in the middle of a mountain, right? And we walk out and we see this, and that's the one video I showed you where like some people are yelling like, oh, it's a plane. Oh, no, it's a drone. Like they're going back and forth. And my son's like, it's a drone, guys, right? So we were looking at that.
What's up, China?
This one. Yeah, one kid's going, "What's up, China?"
No, it isn't. It's a drone.
See the sound there that was making. It sounded like that sound that usually like a commercial airliner make.
Yes,
that
but the
whistling
problem
sound.
is it was only 100 feet above us.
No, it isn't. It's a drone.
Yeah, don't they have like unmanned aircraft like the size of planes nowadays?
Yeah,
like,
it's called
for
like the
military?
Predator drones, what Obama blew everybody up with.
Yeah.
No, but that's what it is. But this is what I'm getting to. So we saw this. That's the little video, right? So then we pull out, we start going up the mountain, and where we go through, it's like a wildlife reserve. Like you can fish, hunt. It might even be part of like the Appalachian Trail, like where you walk through. So it's pretty dark right there, right? And I was looking up, and I had myself and one of the other kids in there, and on both sides, you just kept seeing more of them. Then we were seeing the orbs. Then we were seeing the drones, and it looked like it was dropping little drones and stuff like that. So it was very, very odd seeing that stuff, especially around here. But like the other thing is we live like right next to a big military base, like thousands, tens, 20s, and thousands of people work on it. It's literally border. Like they let us know when they blast because our houses are shaking, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, pick continue, we'll be blasting.
I was going to say, and I've seen it in the news throughout this entire thing, the one that me and you have talked about before and you've referenced many times. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I'm used to seeing, like, every once in a while a jet go there. I'm used to seeing every once in a while a helicopter come through, whether it's state troopers, whether it's military, whether it's a cargo one. Like every once in a while, you'll see like an odd thing go through. But you know what it is because we like I live by Newark Airport, I live by Teterboro, I live by like all those things. So I'm used to seeing. But like Drew was saying, like they have it. It's like, oh, it's taking off from Teterboro. We know it's leaving and going west.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, we know this is coming in from California. It's gonna lit. Like I mean, we even see the flight patterns of like Newark, JFK, all that shit. That's where we live. So we're very, very used to, I don't know, our whole childhood and adulthood laying out on the grass, watching them go back and forth. You're at the beach. You can see them going back and forth. So, I mean, it's something different. And I'm seeing it with my own eyes. And it's not making sense on all the answers they're giving us. Another telling thing is like there is press conferences, like all the mayors got together in all these towns and have like a mayor meeting. The mayor of my town actually lives in my lake, and he was my dare officer as a kid, former chief, like assistant chief of police. So I know him very well. And he was like, well, the mayor's got there. Murphy didn't even show up for it, so on and so forth. And like, they're seeing it. So the mayor's like, yeah, see it. The sheriffs are going, we don't know what the fuck this is. Are you guys going to tell us what this is? Like, we have to protect our town, our people, etc. And when you're seeing them have press conferences with reps, even though the reps might be like, just looking for their soundbite and everything else, like they're getting together with towns and municipalities and groups and county sheriffs and all that stuff. And they're asking New Jersey government and our governor and the federal government, like, what is going on? We're seeing it. The cops
appealing to the authority, right? For help, guidance, right? Because towns don't have an air force, right? Even like the state doesn't have an air force to like investigate this and deal with this.
Yeah.
I did see a lot of these videos you're talking about, Garrett, especially of like New Jersey State Police. They are the state police. They do have resources, right? But they do not have a fucking air force. Maybe they got some choppers and shit, but they don't have like fighter jets or their own, ability to pursue these things. So I saw some videos of them like sitting out on the boardwalk at the Jersey Shore and just like watching these things come in, which looks like a lot of it from the ocean. So
the Coast Guard's getting followed by them. Our Coast Guard boats are getting followed by them, and that's the other thing too, guys. Like I trained a lot of law enforcement. Military, current military, former military, like I have a lot of these guys that are like blood, sweating, and tearing with me every day, and they're saying and seeing the same things, and they're not getting answers either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's very, very strange.
It is. It is. I kind of wanted to establish here in the first part of our episode that it's real. It's happening. We could get in a little bit into maybe in a minute the government and their explanation or why or what you guys think it is for. I thought let's play Trill's video, what he took. Similar to yours, like the light behavior, Garrett, seems similar, right?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of videos similar with the light behavior similar.
It's
again,
like weird.
It's worth noting.
It's like in a triangle like sequence or something like that. And like I never seen the planes do a sequence like that.
Yes.
So that's why it's like throwing me off.
And they have that weird hum, like you can hear the same hum in his video as my video. So it's like, is that a plane that's it's almost like it's like, oh, is it a commercial airliner that's really low? But it would be so much louder if it's low because, like you said, like we know when they're low.
Distance,
we know when that's
engine power, all those things are going to have a factor into the sound it makes. Yeah, it does. Garrett, let's play the other video that you sent me. This is a friend of yours sent you this?
Yeah, this is over by lake where I live, but there's like 3 or 4 of them. It got sent to me like twice over, so the quality might not be as good as what we were looking for. I'm still working on buddies trying to send me some stuff.
Yeah, it's all right. This is moving really slow, this one. And drones,
that's what I'm saying. Like, see how slow it's moving?
Yeah.
See it blinking?
And
Greg
the lights
says, yes, I saw ones exactly like that in Watchung, New Jersey. Yeah.
You see them? 4. No, there's 4.
So yeah, I mean, there's a million videos like this out there. It really is something.
But these are also like people that I know that always call me crazy conspiracy theorists that are sending me these videos, and they're like, "What the fuck is this, Garrett?"
They want to
know what I'm saying?
with their friendly neighborhood conspiracy theorists. Garrett, what do you think, bro? It's crazy, right? Because when, I know exactly what you mean, right? Because when unexplainable shit happens, people who would have previously dismissed you are now coming to you looking for answers on that.
It's been happening to me for like 4 years now. So it's just like, I'm like and like Skags, me and you have bullshit a ton of times. Like I think things are maybe a little bit more far-fetched than you think on certain things and certain beliefs, certain stuff. But like, we've been doing pretty well over the past 4 years when we were calling bullshit, satanic pedophiles, everything else. Like, shit's real.
Yeah, we got a good
whether you want to believe it or not.
You know what got lost? I don't want to throw us off for a loop here, so I don't want to get into it. I'm just going to mention it. I'm just going to drop it, and then let's keep it moving. But there was a flat earther who went to Antarctica last week and did a whole documentary. Not like a documentary, but he recorded the whole thing. Went with a group of whatever normal scientists, and he basically said he admitted that he was completely fucking wrong by going there and seeing the sun and doing a whole couple other things. But anyway, maybe that'll be, we'll table that for a future discussion, or we'll do a dive into what he did. Because I didn't really look at it much. I just watched the one video of him kind of commenting on it. So we'll think about it.
I've seen that too.
All right. So I don't know. Where do you guys want to go next, man? Do you guys want to, are we ruling out? I think at least I am. I'm completely ruling out aliens. Right, which is ironic given the past fucking 2 years. We've covered it a lot on the podcast. They've been slow dripping, talking about UAPs, UFOs, shit like that. I don't think that's not completely related here whatsoever. Right? There's got to be some loose relation. I don't think it's a coincidence that we're having this scenario in the past 2 years or whatever it's been. The government specifically has been talking nonstop about UFOs or UAPs, right? And they haven't explicitly said they're aliens, but they're kind of, that insinuation is kind of always there that they're non-terrestrial, non-human origin. We've seen them all, right? So I don't know. What do you guys think this is before we get into a lot of the contradictory videos and whatnot next?
I don't know. Lately, I've just been checking out the possibility of it being UFOs or aliens because just a lot of the stuff that's been coming out the past like couple of days and like this whole past week and whatnot. There was this one theory that like came across me on Twitter and stuff like that, and even Chris even had a discussion with me about it. And there's this theory going around now saying that there's a possible warhead that was shipped over here to the United States and no one knows where it's at, and they're using these drones to pick up gamma radiation off of this warhead and trying to figure out where it is on the East Coast and whatnot. But they don't want to say anything because they don't want to cause hysteria, people trying to like escape the area and whatnot. So I don't know. That's one theory that I've been saying.
Yeah. I mean, all right, let's hit these theories in order as best as we can.
Hold on, I have that queued up as one of my things actually. Trill,
right.
So now you mentioned
we started with
hang on.
Right.
First, let's stick with real quick. Let's stick with what Trill's mentioned, because I think
I saw this one.
This is probably one of the most realistic, plausible scenarios or explanations to what could be going on without us getting into like sci-fi sort of stuff. So
Well, I have a
Marion
bunch-
Fall.
Yep, I have a bunch of shit for this
Yeah.
theory.
So Marion Fall tweet, he says radioactive material vanishes in New Jersey and now there are drones. Coincidence? A small amount of radioactive material has vanished in New Jersey because apparently even radioactive shipping containers aren't immune to mysterious disappearances. The U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission confirmed on December 2nd that damaged an empty shipping container once holding a G68 pin source used in hospital PET scanners was found. Officials claim the material is low risk unless mishandled, but let's be real, radioactive stuff going missing is never a good look. To add to the chaos, the drones. I will say I've seen before, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but I remember one time years ago, I was driving in the Bronx on the near like the Cross Bronx Expressway, and underneath there's in kind of like the South Bronx area, there is the Cross Bronx is overhead, like it's elevated roadway, and then there's an area of it that's also underneath. And I was much younger, and I was driving there, and the underneath portion, there was a giant flatbed truck being towed by 18-wheeler type semi, and it was this giant metal thing, and on it had the radiation symbol on it, right? And it was surrounded by the NYPD, what looked like a military truck. I'm talking about like dozens and dozens of vehicles were driving ahead of it, clearing, like making sure the intersection nobody could drive into the intersection ahead of it. Like it had the right of way and a complete police escort. So I've seen radioactive material obviously needs to get moved around sometimes. I don't know, maybe like a nuclear power plant. It's like whatever, it's material there runs out and needs to be moved off site and buried somewhere else. That's a job. That's a process, right? They got to like transport it in a safe container. And in theory, if that was intercepted by the wrong people, they can then grab that material and perhaps use it as a dirty bomb or something like that. Like if I was an evil villain who wanted to pull a GTA heist sort of thing, I mean, like it would, targeting a radioactive shipment would be a pretty good move to make. So I find this is actually a pretty realistic explanation / scenario that could have occurred. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened here, but perhaps that is somewhat of what happened. And how do you exactly find a needle in a fucking haystack after that? Maybe you need to you enact or you activate this drone program that we have that could scan for something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember. I don't know if you two remember. Remember that shaved head cross-dresser that was working for the Biden administration?
Sam Hinton or something.
He was in charge of nuclear waste.
Right.
So
right, like nuclear waste is dangerous. It could be dangerous.
No, but then you guys remember all those train derailments and the weird gases and Palestine and all that stuff. Yeah. So people forget about that. Like over the summer, they were talking about radioactive and nuclear stuff going missing from certain sites and certain things. So they've been talking about that for months. But then if you were watching any of like Sean Ryan's podcast or anything like that, he had that CIA lady on and she was talking about them, Russia and Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is using Russia's pipeline that they get stuff into the U.S. and how they do it to be able to sneak things in too. So I think it's a total plausible thing that they don't want to cause mass public hysteria, everybody freaking out. We're going to downplay this and, use our typical, nothing to see here, guys, even though you guys are all seeing it with your eyes. Don't believe your own eyes, like 1980, right? Like we say it all the time. I think it's very plausible that that is something, and it seems like the most logical assessment of what is going on. But, I mean, they lie to us about everything, so I don't trust anything right now.
Well, they are lying about this right now.
I mean, they're lying. Right. They're not telling us. They know what it is. They don't know what it is, but we don't know what it is, but it's not here to hurt you.
Sure. And, so I guess the point I'm kind of trying to make right now, thinking of, is like it could be a really boring fucking answer, but it is a danger and it is a government, so they can't help but lie about it. And now, to a certain extent, I actually kind of understand why they would lie if there is a danger to the public and like a nuclear danger. I could see why they would lie if they're pretty confident that they'll get it handled. And saying something would cause a massive fucking panic, evacuations. Who knows, in the area where perhaps there doesn't need to be, because they could clean it up. They could clean it up before anything happens.
I get that from a mass standpoint, boys. Like I understand, like, a lot of people are pussies and they're gonna do crazy shit, right? But like at the same time, I'm so sick of being a grown man and the government, who is the
Yeah.
fucking worst pieces of shit ever, telling me what I can handle.
Exactly. Yes.
After
Yeah,
they've
it's
just
crazy.
beat, they're like the abuser. They're like, we beat you because we love you. We beat you because we love you. And you're like,
Right.
beat me more, right? Like, I'm just sick of them telling me what they think I can psychologically handle and not handle
I agree.
anymore.
I
Yeah.
agree. Right.
That's just
So
my
let- wait, so
stance
let me-
where I'm
let me
at
ask
on
you
that.
both. Let's start with Trill. If it was, let's say they came out and said, yeah, it's a nuclear weapon that went missing. Like I've actually seen people say it's a nuclear weapon that went missing from when Ukraine turned over the nukes back to Russia after the Soviet Union dissolved, and they had that agreement where they gave the nukes back to the Russians. And apparently, like, some nukes went missing, and it's like it's that nuke from all the way back then, and now it's made its way over here. So let's say hypothetical scenario here, they were like, it's a nuke, we lost track of it, it's gotten into the New York City metropolitan area. What would you do, Trill, if that was the case?
Me? Shit, I don't like if they actually like made that announcement. Boy, I don't even know.
They're not
I-
saying
I-
it's going to detonate. They're just saying it made into area and we cannot find it.
I wouldn't make like mass hysteria about it really. Because like I don't know, I feel like if they would announce it, like they have the capability of handling the situation and pretty much locating and tracking down this warhead and whatnot to disarm it, or I don't know, like get it out of the area and stuff like that. Yeah, I wouldn't like go crazy. Like like when like storms happen, like I'm not like one of those people like, oh, I gotta go to the store, I gotta get bread, milk, this and that. Like it's gonna be like a freaking, I don't know, the blizzard of the century. Like, nah, like I just ride it out and whatnot. But for something like this, like it's a little concerning, but like I'm not gonna like cause hysteria and be like, yo, I'm like packing up and I'm
You
going
wouldn't
down to
panic.
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like traveling down to Florida or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, too, like, where the fuck we gonna run to?
That too.
Well,
It's like
where you gonna go?
Garrett, what would you
can't go
do?
anywhere.
I'm
What would
running a
I-
hypothetical past you now. Let's say that's what happens. What is the first thing you now do?
All right, I'm gonna catch the pass real quick. Boom. Okay. So I mean, like, it's a lot harder for me to move how I used to be able to move. Why? Because I have kids, right? I love my children, but they're a liability at this aspect, not an asset. I'm training them to be assets, not liabilities. But realistically, in the grand scheme of things, like, I got 3 little ones. I'm gonna have to tow behind me, your wife, your kid, whatever it is. Like, so you can't really move how like we would apocalypse now move, right? Like guns on our back, ready to go, figuring it out, food, beg, borrow, and steal as you're moving along. So I mean, all you could do, especially in like a nuclear situation, if it's that fucking close to me, I'm gonna be crisp anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, nobody wants to deal with the radiation, the fallout, the this and that. Like, but like, if that's our destiny, that's our destiny, and there's nothing I'm gonna be able to do on that grand, larger aspect. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna crack a beer and hang with my homies, man. Like, it is what it is.
So yeah, I know what you mean. So
at
the
that
way
point, like, yes, do you want self-preservation? And I
Yeah.
want my children to have a life and everything. So, like, is there that aspect of me is like, okay, we got to run to, but like, where am I really gonna run?
Yeah, you can't really go anywhere. Like
No.
even if you go out west, you go down south. Like
But we're
the
just talking about
radiation-
one nuke, though, right? Or some nuclear material. I'm not talking about if Russia launches all the nukes and we launch all the nukes. Yes.
No,
I'm
that's a
gonna
different
crack
scenario.
open
But
a
like,
beer
even if they
sit back
drop
and
it
watch
on,
the show.
if
But
they drop it on the base next to me, I'm fucking dead.
right, that's a different story. You're
Wow.
within the proximity.
Plus, it's also on munitions. Like, so
so
they make big booms anyway.
So
Let me-
wait a minute, if one goes off, is it like gonna be like something similar to what happened like in Japan during World War II?
It all depends, right? It depends on how much material. If you're talking about like an actual nuclear warhead that's a little bit more modern, we're talking about a gigantic explosion, probably
Yeah,
like
I
50
feel like
to
that's-
100 times bigger than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. If you're talking
Yeah.
about like some nuclear material that's like strapped onto dynamite, it's not going to be a gigantic explosion. It's going to be a very dangerous, dirty, radioactive fallout sort of scenario, right? But it won't just vaporize everybody
Yeah.
around it, right? I don't want to get too lost in the weeds of like the technicality of the thing. Although I do think Like, if it were me, first of all, I'm broken from COVID. Why would I just all of a sudden just trust whatever the government has to say, and that they were just telling the truth about this thing in this scenario, right? I'm literally just taking their word for it without any firsthand evidence. And I think that doesn't mean that it's not the actual scenario happening, but I think it's a good example of how they fucked up and they eroded their own credibility so bad that if there ever is, I'm not the only person who'd feel this way, I'm sure. If there ever is a scenario where there is an actual emergency and they then tell you this thing is happening, a lot of the population isn't going to believe them. And it's a really bad place for like our people to be in, where there has to be some sort of authority that could tell us something, and we have to have some version of trust. I'm not saying that we should blanket trust them on everything, of course, and everybody watches the show knows me, right? But that's where we're at now because of how much they fucking lied about everything. So I got to be honest with you, I don't know if I would just take it at face value, right? Because perhaps they're trying to engineer a fucking panic, right? And it could be the complete opposite scenario. Instead of them being like, well, we trust the public, there is this thing going on, and we trust the public to behave, you know, in a logical, way. They're like, oh no, we know exactly how everybody behaved during COVID. They became fucking hypochondriacs and lost their minds. If we do this is going to cause a massive panic and get some sort of reaction we want out of, that we want in the moment right now. That's why we're kind of dropping this thing. And maybe it's actually nothing. Maybe this is a precursor. Like they're setting this up now, like to get the idea in your mind. Look, they've been using these drones, right? And nobody knows what it's for. And they were all fucking lying about it at every turn, every time someone asks about it. But then maybe they drop the bomb on you. I don't mean that literally, but it's a nuke. And now they just spent, 4 weeks, kind of planting that idea in your mind. And then how does everybody behave to that? Does everybody freak the fuck out and panic right around when Trump is about to be inaugurated, perhaps? I'm trying to keep in mind all these factors about how I would react to it. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys or if I was just rambling there.
Yeah, like it could be like them just lying, making up some type of story or whatever. Like also too, like you said, Trump's going into office in a matter of like 4 weeks, 3 weeks or something like that. So that's another thing I heard online, like them saying like they were going to try to do some crazy event or crazy, I don't know, thing that was going to happen like before
could be your Days of Darkness, Garrett, that could be playing out here or whatever the fuck it is.
Listen,
I'm not ruling that out. I've never ruled that out in total.
Listen, there's a lot of things they've been talking about. Like we've been talking about, you kind of went on rant there, so I'm trying to keep a timeline in my head, right? So, so when we were talking about aliens as well, too, like, I mean, anybody who's been in the conspiracy, realm, let's say, or the people that know what the fuck's going on before other people realm, like they've been talking about alien invasions, Project Blue Beam, holographs for a very, very long time. They were talking about aliens that are supposed to land on the day that this really broke and got big. They've been spoon feeding.
Real quick. There was that AI. There was that show, that AI thing, right? That predicted the aliens and Joe Rogan and Trump and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but so listen, so like they've been doing spoon feeding you the Senate hearings where they're having like the panel of experts that this was I find absolutely crazy that like they're telling you that it's real after they told you for 70 years that it's not real. But now we're supposed to believe that they do have the technology or they don't have the technology. And you're supposed to forgive them for making them disappear, all those people, and ruin their lives, calling them crazy people that it never existed, not happened. There's no such thing. If it was real, we would have the evidence, right? And now they're telling you I have the evidence and basically like, oh, another mulligan. Forgive us on this one, just like JFK, 9/11, everything else, right? Give us this one back, and then you can trust us again. And then they slap you with this in the face like, we don't know what it is, but don't you worry about it because we're not worried about it, so you shouldn't have to worry about it, right? So like there's that whole thing. So I mean, if you guys have been looking too, they've been leaking those China videos where they're showing the drone swarms. Have you guys seen them? Like even after New Year's,
the ones that are like in place of fireworks shows, I guess you could say.
Yeah, they have that.
Synchronized drone shows. Yeah,
exactly. So it's making them look like crazy shit. But like, what happens if there's holographic things on all those things? Very easy lay. Like we've seen all those videos where like the whale jumping out of the basketball floor and it looks real.
Yeah.
I saw a meme. And it was saying how to fuck with like those people that are on North Sentinel Island, like those wild primitive people, that we should send a drone swarm over there and make it the shape of like a person's face. And basically, like, we should fuck with them and pretend like we're their god or something,
No,
literally. And what are they going to think when they see a drone swarm of a person flying above them and like telling them to do something? And that was just a funny meme, but in theory, that's a great fucking point.
No,
right?
like
Like
I was exactly gonna say that. Like we go to Papua New Guinea in the middle of the rainforest, or like we go to like Bangladesh and the fucking guy with the 12 arms is coming down, and everybody's like, "Holy shit! Holy shit! He's really here!" Right?
Has the tech gotten to the point where it can make something that convincing to people who are aware of what drones and shit are?
It's like kind of like reminds me of fucking, what is it, Spider-Man No Way Home?
Mysterio
with the drones.
With Mysterio. I'm Garrett, I'm sure you didn't watch that one, right? But the second of the new Spider-Man movies, the main villain was Mysterio, but he wasn't the villain for most of the spoiler warning. He wasn't the villain throughout the whole thing. He was a good guy in the beginning, and then turns out he was using an entire drone projection thing to make Spider-Man and everybody else think that he had magic powers and that Spider-Man was fighting all these like elemental monsters. Then it turns out it was fucking drones, and Spider-Man only found out because he shot a web at one basically by accident and damaged it, and it broke the whole projection for an instant. Right, that could be something like that. Who knows, man? That's some predictive fucking programming right there for you years ago.
I mean, nothing's off the table, right? At this point, boys, like nothing is off the table. So we have the aliens, the Project Bluebeam that they've been talking about, the ability to shoot that, do that stuff.
What is that? Holograms, right?
The
Project Bluebeam. That's like holograms. Like pretty much they could like just create whatever. Like if they wanted to do aliens and be like fuck with us and be like, oh shit, the aliens are here. Like. Yeah, that's great.
But I mean, that's one of like, if we want to just go into that a little bit, like that's a great way for them to usher in a new world order. Like the COVID didn't work, that anything. It's like, listen, these things, none of our militaries can stop them by themselves. Nobody's safe by themselves. We need to join together. You need to listen to this one man.
Like Independence Day.
Yes, 1,000% predictive programming. Like we've all seen this play out already, right? In some sort of Hollywood skit or another. We've all seen this play out. Predictive programming 1,000 times.
But I also then think with that sort of concept, it's like a chicken and the egg. Is it that that's predictive programming, or is it that someone just happened to make a movie like that and now we're taking it happen
before and they know it's going to do?
We're then just taking the idea that was in that movie and trying to apply it to something happening now in real life. You know what I mean? Like, so what came first, the chicken or the egg? I'm not saying that predictive program isn't a thing, right? But
no, I know what you're saying. You're just putting it out there, but like the way they always say, art imitates life too.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to
get it from the left or the right, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole on that shit because I do want to. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least videos or statements from the government here that I wanted to show everybody, being that we are a news show, and I think this is just as much a part of the story as the drones themselves. But I always say, like, the reaction to something is sometimes more interesting than the thing itself now, right? Now, in this case, what is the reaction? It made it into the news. People start asking the federal government on different news programs, at press briefings. They start asking President-elect Donald Trump, who's going to be the next video after this. They ask the president right now, Joe Biden. And everyone has seeming like some sort of different answer. Up to the moment where, Garrett, before we even started recording, I'm just refreshing Twitter, and they're putting out more and more new statements that are constantly fucking contradicting. And if I just sat here and showed you all of them on the podcast, we'd be here all night just looking at contradictions. So I kind of lined these up in chronological order, going back 4 days to December 13th. And I'm going to start with
just play them in a row.
Sure. So John, I'm not going to listen to the whole thing on everyone just a little bit, but let's start with John Kirby on December 13th. He is one of the people in the Biden administration and played videos of his before. So he's asked about this on Fox News.
Do you know and you can't say? Can you tell me that?
No, I'm telling you, Martha, I'm telling you, we don't
You don't know.
We
All right,
don't.
let
We
me
can't
ask you this.
corroborate every single sighting. Some of them we have, not all of them, and we're working hard to do that. We know people are afraid of it. We know people have concerns. We have those same concerns.
Yeah, because
But
they're
what I
flying over
can
your
tell you-
house, and it sounds
Of
like there are
course.
motorcycles landing on your roof.
Of
So
course.
I'm going to pause it here. This is a really bad acting job of lying by both of them. This is, at least in my opinion, you guys tell me otherwise, right? It's very fucking obvious. Kirby is lying here in just the way he's like delivering this. It's very obvious that this is kind of Fox News, like giving him a layup or like putting on a skit to kind of like expose this thing in front of the, like, you see, we ask the government people the truth, what's going on.
We asked them the hard question.
Right, we asked them the hard question. Like that's this could be like an SNL skit to
Yes.
me, at least. I don't know if you guys feel the same about it.
let me ask you this. One, person who watched this online said they think it's a Terradynamics Transwing Drone XP4, which is being developed by the U.S. Navy as a recon and logistics drone capable of picking up and dropping off packages between land and moving ships in high seas and winds. They're suggesting it's an American company. We asked the company. They said we can't speculate on the origin of the drones that are flying over New Jersey. So is that an avenue that has been inspected? Is this a private company that is practicing something? And wouldn't they have to clear something with somebody to have this kind of activity?
It could very well be, as I said, these could be commercially developed drones of some kind.
Why not just take one down and figure out what's going on?
Well, the idea of taking something down, again, you want to worry about public safety. First of all, we don't have enough conclusions to take that kind of a policy action. But let's just assume for a minute, Martha, that...
All right, so White House official person says it could be commercial activity. And then he's asked, could we take him down? We don't have enough information if we could take him down. But again, just keep in mind, the White House is saying it could be commercial activity. She asked him if it could be commercial activity. Say, yeah, sure, it could be. This isn't me or you, Garrett. This is the White House is saying
Yes.
this, right? Representative of the White House. Let's move on to our next video, which is the Pentagon Trump will be after this one, but Pentagon on the 15th is asked about the same thing.
They're not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
You're telling me we don't know what the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct? That's right. It's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. That's madness that we don't know what these drones are.
Okay, so going back to the first video, they're not. They could be commercial entities, but here we are. Here we have the Pentagon being asked and testimony in Congress. I think there's also Pentagon people there, and they're saying no. They're giving you a little bit more of a definitive answer, saying that it's not, that they don't know what it is. I will say too. You guys remember that? I forgot who it was, but one of the Republican congressmen said that it was an Iranian drone ship was launching these things.
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta be honest with you.
Van Bruin or whatever.
I don't know about you, Garrett. At this point, if I hear it's Iran, I immediately dismiss it. Immediately. Anything that points to Iran is doing it is out of hand dismissed by me. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Sympathizer, you.
Yes, Iran drove a ship across the fucking earth and is launching drones unopposed in the United States, the country which we are so hungry to go to war with, somehow fucking drove a ship over here and is launching hundreds of drones a night at our military installations. And we're not doing anything. I mean, come on, just out of hand. That was obviously so fucking fake. All right, I got Trump here, who gave probably one of the most interesting responses to this question, I think, because he's Trump, and that's what he tends to do.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports?
Yeah.
American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on for some reason.
So real quick, even if they were late, they'd blast it, right? He's kind of talking about this Chinese spy balloon. Remember how they allowed the spy balloon to float across the whole country? And yeah, like they were late, to responding to it, but they did respond and they did blow it up eventually once it got over the ocean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster. Want to know the truth? They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
Have you been
Do you have any reason to think they're
Boy, sometimes you say a lot by not saying anything at all. What did you guys think about that one?
You want to go first, Trill?
No, I'll let you go first.
All right. So, well, with that, I mean, I think it's just like him throwing them under the bus even more. Like, look how competent they are. They're just letting things go over. They know what's going on. They've been lying to you the whole time. Ran my home campaign on the fucking deep state lying to you, all the swamp trash lying to you. And look, a couple days before, they're trying to cause another national security problem for me to have to deal with when I get in. And, you know, I can't do anything about it right now, but like, basically, don't worry about it. I got it handled on my end. That's how I kind of took it, because they tried to dig at him, tried to do whatever. And he acknowledged, he pointed the finger, said, listen, they're letting it happen. I don't know why. We know what our military, he was already president. That's the weird thing too. Like, you don't get a president and then get like an at bat off and then come back in for the home run swing. Like, you usually get your back-to-back, like consecutive, like,
Yeah.
we won 2 World Series.
Yeah,
then we're
that's
done.
odd. Yeah,
Like,
that's
it's
odd.
a
The fact that
very
he left
weird
and it's not coming
dynamic
back,
that he's at. Like, it's almost like Wizard of Oz. He's seen behind the veil now, and now
How
he
much
knows
has
how
he
to
seen
play it.
though? They've lied to him as well.
Oh, 1,000%. But like, by lying to him about it, that also is very revealing. You start to reveal like who's a liar, who you can trust, who you can't trust. Like, you almost need to like put yourself out there at first in a certain way to know who can be trusted and who can't be trusted. Because in the beginning, like, we know, like, the size of government is so fucking big, you can't know everybody's cousin, brother, and every sister.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, if
Yeah,
we needed something done, let's say like this, we all have our network of people. Like, oh, okay, I need to get this. Talk to Joey's cousin. He's down at the docks. He'll grab you this.
Preposterous.
He'll
It's
get it that.
preposterous. The federal
You
government
know?
is a preposterous fucking, proposition in general, how large it is. I agree. Trill, what do you think about Trump's comments there? You got anything, Eddie, or want me to go next?
I feel like he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
He's trolling them like so hard with like the whole situation, and like G Money said, like pretty much like he's gonna handle it once he gets into office and whatnot. And on another take on what he was talking about, like, so he's already had that experience in the White House, so he like already knows who to trust, who not to trust. Like, he's already been there, so he's like now going back in, knowing, being well vetted and having that experience going into a second term, going into the White House, like pretty much knowing like, all right, I know who's on my team and who's not on my team and whatnot.
Hope you boys are right. Regarding his
We
video,
do too.
so regarding his answer to the drone question, he spends the first 50 seconds basically telling you he knows exactly what's going on, that they know exactly what's going on, that he knows, in a sense, he kind of says, I know it's not the enemy, because if it was, they'd have shot it down right away, like I was saying before. Then he's asked if he's received the intelligence briefing. He's like, I can't comment on that, though.
Yeah.
Right. So he spends the first 50 seconds telling you basically everything he knows because of the intelligence briefing. And then if he's asked if he's received an intelligence briefing on it, which at this point he should be every single day.
No.
Him and Biden should be getting the same exact intelligence briefing. They should be getting the same exact intelligence briefing, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've
remains to
had
be seen
this
if they are or not.
conversation offline.
But I'm just saying,
like me and you, right? Like, we've had this conversation offline where like, he should be, but there was a lot of shit that they shouldn't have been doing to him the whole time. Excuse me. FISA, the wiretapping, everything else on a sitting president, going through everything, all that other stuff that he's been going through. So like, you trust these people to do the right thing now?
right?
Like, they've even said, like, what would we say about Jamie Raskins? Like, oh, we got a plan. He'll never be inaugurated. We got a plan. Like, blah, 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 blah. If it is this, if it is that, like, They're going to put alien invasion. They're going to put another pandemic. They're going to put whatever they can to fucking World War III, whatever they can to derail the train that he has created, right? But I mean, I think he gave you the answer without giving you the answer and covering his ass.
Yeah.
You know,
So
like
I think
I'm going to give you all my answers, but I can't answer
I
that.
can't.
All
I
right,
can't tell
boys
you.
and
I
girls?
know. Right. Here's everything that's happening, but I can't tell you whether or not I know what's happening. Right. It's a very double sided kind of answer, or you know. I was thinking, Garrett and me were talking about this. I mean, he could be trying to put pressure on them to get this fixed, whatever it is, and using the threat of him being a loose cannon. That hey, I'll just say what it is, right, and I'll blow up whatever it is the fuck you guys are working on. So I'm threatening you in a sense by kind of like loosely talking about this, but it didn't go all the way. He does know exactly what it is and whatnot. I don't know, like if it was a nuke and everyone in the New York City metropolitan area was in immediate danger of being killed, and you think that Donald Trump is a good guy trying to do the right thing for the country, I feel like he probably would just say something, right? And give everybody, like if he wasn't confident in their ability to handle this, perhaps, maybe he could just be like, fuck it, I'm just going to say something and blow the whistle because everybody could get out of Dodge and save themselves, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so let me
it
just say
is a
that
possibility.
his meandering sort of, I know, but I'm not going to tell you what it is, but leads me to believe that it's not something immediately dangerous to everybody. They're doing something, they're working on something, they're looking for something, and it's probably some stupid government thing that they don't necessarily, that they're taking too long to do, or they're being incompetent or something like that. I don't know. That's just the way I'm kind of interpreting what Trump was trying to accomplish with his answer there. All right. I got a couple more things I want to show everybody. This was this morning. DHS, FBI, FAA, and Department of Defense joint statement on the ongoing response to reported drone sightings. There are more than 1 million drones lawfully registered with the FAA in the U.S., and there are thousands of commercial, hobbyists, and law enforcement drones lawfully in the sky on any given day. With the technology landscape evolving, we expect that number to increase over time. FBI has received tips of more than 5,000 reported drone sightings in the last few weeks, with approximately 100 leads generated, and the federal government is supporting state and local officials in investigating these reports. Consistent with each of our unique missions and authorities, we are quickly working to prioritize and follow these leads. We have set advanced technology, detection technology to the region. We have sent trained visual observers. They sent people to look. Having closely examined the technical data and tips from concerned citizens, we assess that the sightings to date include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopter stars, mistakenly reported as drones. We have not identified anything anomalous, and do not assess the activity to date to be a present national security or public safety risk over the civilian airspace in New Jersey or other states in the Northeast. That said, we recognize the concern among many communities. We continue to support state and local authorities with advanced detection technology and support law enforcement. We urge Congress to enact counter-UAS legislation when it reconvenes that would extend and expand existing counter-drone authorities to identify and mitigate any threat that may emerge. Additionally, there have been a limited number of visual sightings of drones over military facilities in New Jersey and elsewhere, including within restricted airspace. Such sightings near or over DoD installations are not new. DoD takes unauthorized access over its airspace seriously, coordinates closely with federal, state, and local law enforcement authorities. As appropriate, local commanders are actively engaged to ensure there are appropriate detection and mitigation measures in place. I saw that Chuck Schumer also tweeted that they want to get a bill passed now to give the government wants to give itself more power now to deal with drones because there are drones appearing over New Jersey. What more power would they theoretically need? Just scramble a fucking F-16 and shoot the fuckers down, right? If it is something that shouldn't be in authorized airspace, right? This is starting to also sound like one of those classic scenarios of, well, we could take this thing that's happening, it's in the public space, and then we could use it to expand our power in some area that we don't have enough power yet, or we want even more power than we already have.
Yep.
So there's that. What else do I got here? Okay, so that was the Pentagon, the FBI, right? The Department of Defense,
You got
And
anything with Mayorkas on there talking shit?
no, he was earlier in the week, but Mayorkas was saying that it was nothing. So again, the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Defense, FBI, etc., a bunch of three-letter agencies all said it's nothing. Nothing to worry about. No, it's nothing at all. That was this morning. This is this afternoon. I have Jim Hines, Congressman Jim Hines. He went into a secure briefing this afternoon, and here's what he had to say about the drones.
These sightings in New Jersey, Connecticut, anywhere they're being cited, are federal government operations, and they are not. We were assured, and we asked this question over and over and over again. They are not federal government operations to sniff radiation, gas, recovery, anything else. Number two, they remain committed to their message that there is zero evidence of laws being broken by any of these drones. And the context here was the fact that when Josh and I live probably equidistant from Midtown Manhattan, the New York metropolitan area is some of the most crowded airspace in the world, with Newark, Teterboro, White Plains, LaGuardia, Newark, JFK. There is a lot of commercial aircraft in the air, general aviation aircraft in the air. There are 800,000 registered drones in this.
It's them, he says. Right before we started recording, mystery drones in New Jersey are Chinese spy drones, according to House Foreign Affairs Committee Chair McCall. All right. I believe they're spy drones. The PRC, Communist China, is very good at this stuff. We know they bought land around military bases, McCall says. Also, right before we started recording from Disclosed TV, just then the U.S. says mysterious drone flights are not being flown by the Pentagon or are part of secret government tests. Michael Schellenberger says that the memo earlier said they investigated all 6,000 of drone reports. There's no way they could have. They're lying because apparently they don't want to talk about why they can't control the airspace above either our military bases or our residential areas. So, like, within the last day, let's actually go back to the beginning when the White House said that it was probably commercial, activities. Then Trump says, hey, I know what it is, but I don't. Then they said, it's us. They also said it was the Iranians. Then they said it was us. Now they're saying it's not us. It's just they've constantly contradicted themselves, especially in the last day, in the last 12 hours. They put out a memo saying it's not them. It's nothing. That's nothing to worry about in a sense. Then they had this Senate intelligence briefing where they come out, and I just played the video. They literally say it's them, and then an hour or two later, they say it's not them. It's China. So what the fuck is going on? Every hour, they seem to change their mind onto what it is. Why? Why do you guys think they are lying this much? This changing their answer every hour, and what is it? What the fuck is going on, and why?
You want to get weird?
Yes, get weird now.
All right, let's get weird. So I think it could be a couple things. Like, all right, we're going weird mode, right? We're exploring all topics. This doesn't mean that this is what I believe everything. I'm just saying this is a theory. We're throwing shit at the wall, see what sticks.
And right? I have a boring explanation, but go ahead. We'll go crazy.
Yes.
First.
So, but could it be Space Force?
Maybe. And what what do you mean by that though? Like their Space Force is operating rogue?
Well, there's that giant military mission that they've been talking about for years that it has to happen this way. Mm-hmm. There's all this stuff. I'm just saying, right? We're exploring all possibilities,
yes,
correct?
Sure. I'll entertain it, sure.
You better
I'll allow it.
Yeah. Thank you. So, but wouldn't this be a giant unknown military operation if there's a bunch of military grade things flying all over the major cities that all these people live in?
I guess you could say so, sure.
Okay, so that's just one way to look at it. Now, you want
what is the objective of that though? Are they going to drone the president into office or something?
You don't know if you're going to drone it. You don't know if they're scanning. You don't know if they're intel. You don't know what collections there are. You don't know if they're reading the voting machines. You don't know what technologies they have to be able to scan. They could be doing stuff,
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. The possibility is endless if you want to get weird with it, right? If we want to get super weird, they've been saying the drones have been coming from down, not up.
That they're coming out of the ocean. So I mean, but there's a practical answer to that. They could be getting launched off a ship or out of a sub or something like that, right? Like they could be housed in a aircraft carrier. There is a logical situation, but at the same time, what happens if
things don't come from above, and they always have us looking up because they don't want us looking down.
So are they like the
So
the
like they always
locusts
say,
from
we
Gears
know
of
more
War or
about
something?
outer
Like,
space than we do about our own oceans.
yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Correct?
Yeah.
So what happens if they don't live up there? They live down there.
What, the aliens or like the Atlanteans or something?
I think there's layers.
Fair
There's
enough.
dimensions.
So let me give you guys my boring answer to this.
What?
They could be that fucking incompetent that they have no idea what's going on. And all these different agencies are all trying to give you an explanation. They're not communicating well. They're all trying to give you their own answer to what it is, or they're all trying to figure it out. They have no idea, and that's why they're all giving you a different answer. All these different branches of government.
Well,
We're talking
we know
about
that they're
how
not-
giant government is. It's this fucking behemoth.
Yeah.
And while, yes,
they don't
there are
communicate
definitely
with each other. They don't
there are-
share intel
yes.
correctly.
Like,
It's a mess.
there are nefarious agencies in the government that are capable of doing crazy shit effectively. But the entire thing overall is this monstrosity, and it's inefficient and ineffective. And even when it comes to like a bunch of drones flying over New Jersey, they can't get together and fucking figure it out because that's how ineffective and inefficient they are.
Well, give us more money.
Right. That's their answer. We need more. We need
more money. We need more power.
It's like fucking. It's like
Gave over all your rights.
from the Matrix, bro. When Agent Smith, more. He just wants to expand more.
Yeah.
More things. That's their answer to everything. That could literally fucking be it.
could
It's
be.
not a sexy answer. It's really fucking boring, especially for two Doom Men podcasts. But that could be it. I don't know.
Yep.
Joe,
Could
what do
be.
you think?
It could be. It could be like a thing where they're just trying to come up with some type of way to make an excuse to be like, yo, we need more power. We need to implement new laws or whatever, just to get more control on us, make us more submissive and whatnot. So
It's like they have atrophy, maybe even to
Maybe
this point.
they
Like they
had-
can't get anything done. I'm thinking back to like World War II when they were fucking planning D-Day. You know how complicated of a mission
Oh, yeah.
with that many people that was, and fucking they moved General Patton to like the north of England, and they created a fake fucking army division with inflatable planes and shit to trick the Germans into thinking they were invading. Like that was really sophisticated and well thought out and planned. And now it's like drones. We don't know. We all
Yeah,
have
but
different
you know
answers.
what?
We can't figure it
Maybe-
out.
Maybe
It's like
they
the
don't
Doge
want us
meme where
to
it's like the
have
government back then.
drone.
It was the big fucking Doge, and now it's like the little stupid Doge.
Yeah, but maybe they don't want us to have the drones because they see how effective like the Ukrainians and Russians are using them against
Oh,
each
yeah.
other. And then they're always trying to make the gun grab. And now there's so many amateur drone enthusiasts. They're like, wait a second, that's a whole different bomb deliberation system that we didn't even plan for. Like we planned for the ARs, we're planning for the
Right.
guns. Excuse me, we're planning for this, we're planning for that. And now they're like, well, on this foreign battlefield, there's millions of Americans that have these things, and now they can be used as delivery payload systems.
Yeah.
yeah. It's true.
And then we weren't allowed to fly them at night, but when they
Hey.
need this for the excuse, we're allowed to
There's
fly
an
them at
idea.
night now.
Isn't there something going on in Russia with like the drones like that?
Oh,
That's
the-
what I'm
the
saying.
dro-
They're
the
using
drone
them to
warfare has
drop
been
the
insane.
Ukrainians
Yeah.
and vice versa.
That's crazy.
Garrett, there is a great idea I didn't even think of. Perhaps they learned from like the Ukrainians have been, very resourceful, using every sort of drone, like, putting fucking the claw game things onto drones to carry a grenade, fly it over a Russian, drop a grenade on them. Right? They've been super
Right in the
resourceful.
foxhole.
On top of all the money we've given them, they have been very resourceful in using anything they have, trying to fight back against the Russians. I mean, right? Maybe our own government has taken a lesson from that, and it's like we got to get ahead of the game because if we were to do something, our own people are going to do the same thing. Perhaps they invented some new sort of counter drone drones,
Yeah.
right? And in a sense,
Fucking
these
Star
drones,
Wars, man.
these drones are the drones they would activate if people started doing in America what the Ukrainians are doing. And these drones are meant to stop drones from doing the shit that the Ukrainians are doing here. And they're just testing out the system right now at nighttime, not to, cause
Make
too
it
much panic or
obvious or
something like
whatever.
that and make it obvious, right? But then in a sense, it'd have to be tested on soil around military bases.
Yeah, but how do you know
right?
they haven't been testing it over there on that battlefield when we've been giving?
Well,
them
maybe they have.
military-
Maybe
our
they, or
military
maybe
grade
that's
drones.
next.
So maybe they've been testing it over there. They're like, you know what, we're gonna slide it over here.
Well, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Maybe I think that'd be in reverse. They tested here first before they sent that into an active war zone. Because what if it then doesn't work? Or what if it gets easily shot down. The Russians capture it. They make a carbon copy.
Yeah, but it can also
you
be
know?
like no harm, no foul. They're going to test it over the casualties that don't really matter.
No,
in public
I know,
opinion.
but I'm saying this could be just the initial phase of testing.
No, but that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. See, I come
Yeah.
up with some good ones every once in a while. Skag.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think anybody sold out one before yet. Perhaps
Yeah.
could be, man. Counter
guy.
drone technology.
Lot going on in here.
All right, I like it. I at the end of the day, obviously, the three of us we don't have a concrete answer for anybody who's listening.
No,
we're
we're
just kind of
just spitballing here,
speculating,
kids. This is, but
spitballing.
this
I
is
will
what
tell
we
you,
have to do
yeah.
to figure things out because our government fucking lies to us
Yeah,
all the time.
I do think though that they know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying every agency, every person who works for the government knows, but someone knows exactly what's going on there, without a doubt. So, what is it? I don't know, to be honest with you, but I think we could
What quite
probably
is it?
end it there, unless you guys have any other thoughts or things you want to bring up.
No, you got any tweets of the week, bro?
I didn't. I did throughout the week, but I didn't curate them because Captain didn't come. So
See
it
this?
is what it
This
is.
is my
Yeah.
what the fuck,
No tweets of the week today. Yeah.
The only reason
Next
I
time.
show up is tweets of the week.
Next time. All right. You know what? Maybe let's go. Let's go. It'll be an off-topic tweet.
It doesn't
But
matter. I still like tweets
I
of the
got
week.
one I think saved in my bookmarks. This one should get you going, Garrett. Just give me a second here. Let me.
You're gonna try and rile me up.
It's gonna. This could get another. Couple fucking. Actually, do I have it saved? Let's see. I might have retweeted it. Okay.
Skag's trying to rile me up, bro.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much though. Sometimes
Doesn't take much. It does
No.
not take much. All right. So it is going to rile you up probably because it's about Israel. And
no, I'm not even. I'm not taking that fucking bait, Skags. I am not taking that bait.
the tweet of the week is by Rep Don Bacon. He says, "Read Revelations and report back." What is he responding to? What is he responding to? Peter Quinones asks him, hypothetical, one country must no longer exist. A, United States. B, Israel. Choose. To which he responds, read Revelations and report back. So what is he saying? He's saying he's picking Israel, right? Because in order for Revelations to occur in the Bible, it says that Israel needs to exist in order for Jesus to come back from the dead, right? So you have a United States representative saying, hypothetical scenario, one country must no longer exist. And he's saying the United States should no longer exist over Israel. And just to kind of frame the whole discussion that was going on here, it was about the USS Liberty incident where Don Bacon said that was 60 some odd years ago. So he's like dismissing Israel attacking the US Liberty. Oh, that was 60 some odd years ago.
Yeah, and like people don't realize how like it wasn't just like, oh, I got hit with a torpedo. Like they were like lobbing shit at them for hours.
Yeah, Candace Owen she kind of stirred that whole pot up this week by doing a whole episode on the thing, which was really interesting. And it kind of I always love when people stir a pot on shit like that, right? It shows what people's thoughts are. So like Don, our own politician saying that's some 60 some odd years ago, and people drudged up his own tweets about him talking about the Holocaust and other things like that. People like that was 90 fucking years ago, right? But you're always tweeting about stuff like that. So it is really interesting to see the priorities a lot of these politicians and what makes them tick and where their allegiances lie and stuff like that. That one was egregious to me though, man. I mean, he was literally asked if hypothetical, if we could get rid of Israel or United States, and he chose he chose the United States to getting rid of the United States over Israel. That's fucking crazy to hear out of it. And he didn't outright say that. But in a sense, he insinuated that with his answer there, though. So, my goodness, man, what's going on with that? Weird, to say the least. That's it. Garrett's gonna. That's it. No other comments. We can get a whole episode out of that. We will.
I'm keeping to myself on this one because I want to stay out of jail.
Wants to keep us on YouTube as well.
What's that? Yeah, we're trying to keep it YouTube friendly. So I'm just gonna keep that as we're gonna toss that as a grain of salt for right now.
Fair enough.
We'll have this discussion offline, sir.
We will. All right, let's wrap it up there. Why don't you guys shout yourselves out? Where can people find you? All that good stuff.
All right, guys. This is Trillboy. You can find me on Twitch at Trillboy15, Instagram Trillboy15, and also on Twitter Trillboy15. Mostly streaming throughout the whole week, just chatting. Sometimes I do IRL, and sometimes get on the video games and stuff. So you can catch me there.
Sure, we got to do a joint Grand Theft Auto stream next time that we do one, where we have you in here with us, but then you also stream it on your own to your channels, and it's just like a massive cross multi-stream fucking thing going on. We're all in the same session in GTA Online, and we're blowing shit up and fucking.
Let me know, man.
Yeah, we'll do that soon. The snow is going to be coming online.
Yeah.
So we are planning to do one of those soon. That's always fun when it starts snowing in Los Santos, and you paint the snow red. So
yep.
All right, Garrett, go for it.
Well, I don't play video games because I like girls. So no, just kidding. No, I'm just busting you guys' balls. But yes, I don't. I don't. But yeah, you can follow me on IG at my name, Garrett Goldsberry. I'm posting
Yeah, you had Roseanne Barr peeking into your story.
I did. I get some big names. I have some good follows on my account. I mean, they've been hammering me. Obviously, right before the election, they just like tagged my subscribers and hid my shit and everything else. But like, no, I have some pretty big names that actually follow me. But like, I don't even care about that. I want the regular people to fucking know what's going on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? So you can follow me on IG there. And I'm usually, if I hop on the podcast, we haven't been doing Sergeant and Samurai just because of scheduling and everything else. But you find me on Two Do Men occasionally, maybe like once a month or so.
Chair.
Try to hop on. But yeah, follow me on IG. Give me some love over there. We post a bunch of good shit over there.
All right, sounds good. That is our episode, everyone. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Captain will probably be back next week. Adios.